My boyfriend, I'll call him BP, and I have been together for 3 years. We don't live together right now. I have 2 housemates, and he has his own place. He usually comes over a few times a week, but we don't spend more than 2 days in a row together because of our housemate situations. My housemates are both nurse assistants, so they work long shifts and are gone a lot. Things have always been good between BP and me. He's just so dreamy. However, I made a mistake that I'm now paying for, and I don't know if I can ever fix it. Earlier this year, I made the terrible decision to download a dating chat app. I'm not even sure why I did it. BP and I were fine. Nothing was wrong in our relationship, but I was bored, in a manner of speaking. It's hard to justify because it was just stupid. I ended up using the app to talk to men, and it escalated from friendly chats to exchanging nudes. Nothing physical ever happened. I never met any of these guys in person, but I knew what I was doing was wrong. I told myself that as long as nothing physical happened, it wasn't real cheating, but now I know just how wrong I was to think that. Yesterday, BP came over unannounced. He usually texts me before coming over, but this time he didn't. I guess he wanted to surprise me. He had a key to my place for emergencies, so he let himself in. Unfortunately, I was completely naked in my room, FaceTiming with one of the guys I had been chatting with. I didn't hear BP come in, and by the time I noticed him, he was standing in the doorway. I panicked and tried to close my laptop, but he grabbed it before I could and saw the naked guy on the screen. BP immediately broke up with me. He didn't yell, didn't argue. He just said he was done and left. I've never felt so much panic and heartbreak in my entire life. I tried calling and texting him, but he wouldn't answer. I know I've hurt him in a way that might be impossible to repair, but I can't just let go without trying. We finally talked briefly today, and he's firmly against reconciliation. He said he doesn't see how he could ever trust me again. And honestly, I don't blame him. Since that happened, I've deleted the dating app and all the accounts I made on it. I also logged out of all my NSFW accounts where I shared my videos, and I made a therapy appointment to try to understand why I did this and how I can work on myself. BP knows all of this. I've been transparent about every step I'm taking, but it hasn't made a difference to him. He says it's too little, too late, and that he doesn't want anything to do with me anymore. I feel absolutely wrecked by what I did. I don't even know why I was doing it. I feel like I was in a trance or something, like I wasn't even thinking about the consequences. I've been trying to figure out why, but the only answer I seem to have is that I have a serious problem with seeking attention elsewhere. I've always been impulsive, but this is the first time my impulsiveness has truly ruined something I care about. I've stepped outside in my previous relationships as well, but all my former partners were cheaters themselves, so it didn't matter. I told BP that I think I have issues with self-control, and he just told me off, saying that it's not an excuse. He's right, it's not an excuse. It's just something I need to understand so I can change. I know it's probably redeeming in some small way that I never physically met any of these guys, but honestly, I feel like that's not enough to save anything. What I did was still a betrayal, and I feel like I shattered BP's trust completely. I've seen how hurt he looks, and it breaks me. He deserves better than what I did, but I still love him and want to be with him if there's any chance at all that he could forgive me. I know I can't force him to forgive me. I've started journaling, and I plan to go to therapy regularly to work on my impulse control and understand the underlying reasons behind my actions. How do I show him that I'm genuinely remorseful without pushing him further away? And if reconciliation isn't possible, how do I accept that and move forward without letting the guilt destroy me? Update: I have always wanted to reconcile and have really tried to work on our relationship. BP has never been interested in getting back together, but he still wants to be intimate with me. This has left me feeling confused and pretty hurt. He never stays over, and he doesn't want to do anything else with me. No dates, no spending time together, just intimacy. When I try to bring up the idea of us reconciling, he shuts me down almost immediately and says he's not interested. It's hard to understand how he can want to be with me physically, but be so opposed to being with me emotionally. It makes me feel used, like I'm only worth that one thing to him now. I know I haven't been perfect in all of this either. There have been times when I have trickle-truthed him, revealing things bit by bit instead of all at once. I justified it to myself by thinking that BP wasn't really interested in the details, so where was the harm? But I know now that I was wrong. I assured BP that I was telling him the whole truth, and then more details would come out later, and it hurt him all over again. I've been trying to come clean about everything since then. It's been 2 months since we separated, and in that time, I've been offloading every lie I've told and everything I tried to hide. It's been a huge relief for me to finally let go of all the secrets. But BP has made it clear that it doesn't matter to him. I feel like I'm doing everything I can to work on myself and to be transparent. I'm in therapy and recently increased my individual counseling to twice a week. I want to understand myself better and learn why I made the choices I did. I want to change, not just for BP, but for myself. I want to feel like I'm worthy of a healthy, loving relationship. But even with all the work I'm doing, I still feel lost most of the time. It feels like no matter how much I try to improve, BP will never be able to forgive me. BP maintains that he doesn't care about this relationship anymore, and he says he doesn't see how he could ever trust me again. I understand that. I broke his trust in a terrible way, and it's not something that can be easily fixed. But I still hold out hope that maybe, if I work hard enough, we can find our way back to each other. I want us to work for the sake of the love we once shared, and for the future I still dream about. Yet I can't help but feel like I'm doing a terrible job at trying to reconcile. We don't even talk anymore, not really. He only comes over when he's horny, and he doesn't seem to care whether I'm even in the mood or ready. He just expects me to be available, and I go along with it because I'm scared that if I say no, he'll stop coming over altogether, and then I'll lose him completely. Our conversations, when they happen, always seem to end with me getting hurt. BP becomes aggressive and insulting, and I just end up shutting down and crying. I know he's angry, and I know I deserve some of that anger, but it's so overwhelming. I feel like I'm drowning in it most days. I don't know how to break the cycle we're in, where he's hurt and lashes out, and I feel hurt and end up shutting down. I want to be there for him, to support him through the pain I cause, but it feels like he doesn't want my support. He just wants to punish me, and I don't know how much more of it I can take. I keep reminding myself that this is what I signed up for when I made the choice to betray him, that if I want to reconcile, I have to be willing to face the consequences of my actions. But it's hard. It's so much harder than I ever imagined it would be. I feel like I'm failing at every turn, failing to make him feel safe, failing to show him that I'm truly remorseful, and failing to give him what he needs to heal. And at the same time, I feel like I'm losing myself in the process. I don't know how to find a balance between being accountable for what I did and not completely losing my own sense of self-worth. How do you keep going when it feels like there's no hope? How do you keep working on reconciliation when your partner is so opposed to it? Is there a way to break this cycle of hurt and anger? Or is it just too late for us? I want to believe that there's still a chance for us, but I don't know if that's realistic anymore. I want to respect BP's boundaries, but it's hard when his actions are so confusing, wanting intimacy but not wanting anything else. I've been trying to figure out why I keep messing up in my relationships. It's honestly kind of embarrassing, but I think a lot of it comes down to me feeling insecure all the time. I just never feel like I'm enough, and I end up wanting attention from other people to feel better about myself. It's so dumb, but I think that's why I keep doing it, even though I know it's wrong and I hurt the people I care about. I also realize that I tend to ruin things when they're going well. Like whenever I'm happy, it's almost like I don't think I deserve it, so I end up doing something stupid to mess it up. It's really hard to admit, but I guess it's because deep down I don't think I'm worth it. My therapist is helping me work on that, and I know I need to fix this if I ever want to have a good relationship.